Primetime local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening, I'm Jace Mackey. Multiple people are facing charges, including 2 Lloydminster residents, after police responded to a complaint of an aggravated assault and forcible confinement. Lloydminster RCMP executed a search warrant at a local residence in November, seizing 3 firearms and ammunition. As a result, 26-year-old Cole Higgins of Lloydminster is facing 5 charges, including aggravated assault and forcible confinement. 33-year-old Julie McAdam of Lloydminster is facing 4 charges. 27-year-old James McAdam of Saskatoon is facing 3 charges, and 22-year-old Tyree Stonechild of Onion Lake is facing 8 charges. Higgins was released from custody and will appear in court on January 18th, while the other 3 have been remanded in custody while they await a court appearance. After a holiday season full of snow in the border city, the second residential snow removal this winter begins today. Work began in the green, orange, and pink curbside zones and will then move on to other parts of the city. As always, crews will plow snow into the center of the street before it's picked up. The city is asking residents to remove curbside carts and vehicles from the street before crews arrive. It could take up to 4 weeks to complete the citywide removal. With the new year starting, many residents are adjusting back to normal life after a weekend filled with celebrations. Impaired driving incidents are increased when it comes to New Year's events, but one local man wasn't going to let that happen. Our Shelby Clark spoke with him on how he helped people get home safely.
Joining us today for Primetime Local News is Austin Burgess. Thank you so much for taking the time to be able to speak with us today, Austin.
Thanks a lot, Shelby.
Really happy to be able to have you on here because, of course, online, many residents have interacted with your posts and we've all been seeing it. And you offered free rides for people celebrating New Year's Eve. Now, what inspired this idea to make sure people got home safely?
Yeah, for sure. So the reason I did it is simply to keep the drunk drivers off the road. I know New Year's Eve is, I'm sure the RCMP knows, I'm sure everybody knows, that's the day that most people get hit with the DUIs, with the impaireds and stuff like that. So what I did was I wanted to make sure that people had not only a safe ride home, but also a semi-fast way home, because I know lots of cabs in the city took anywhere from 1 to 3 hours to get a ride. And don't get me wrong, I took a while for some people, especially after that midnight bell dropped, but it was definitely a fun night and everybody was super nice. And it's definitely something I'll be doing in the future as well.
Yeah, have you done this in previous years, or would you say this is the first time that you wanted to do this and help people getting a ride home?
No, this is the first year that I've done this, especially on New Year's. It's the first time I've done anything like this where I've just been offering rides to people for free or anything like that. Of course, it's not something that many people do very often, but it's something that I think is definitely needed on a day like New Year's Eve, especially when drinking is usually people's first priority and finding a way home is the second priority. So if somebody, even one person, saw my post on Facebook, so gave me a call, got a ride home instead of drinking and driving, I did my job, right?
I know you're already kind of bringing this up, but do you plan to continue this every New Year's Eve or kind of doing it in the future?
Yeah, for sure. I might even do it on other holidays as well. I know graduation weekend is a popular one. And if there's any other big parties or anything like that, of course, I'm going to offer my services. I have a really good car that works really well, and I got nothing but time on my hands. So, of course, I'm going to help out however I can. And like I said, the biggest thing is doing it to keep drunk drivers off the road. It's one of the things that everybody knows how bad it is, but for some reason, people keep doing it. And it's one thing that, don't get me wrong, I'm not going to change it alone, but hopefully a couple people can see me and just realize, hey, I have other options rather than drinking and driving or anything like that.
No, exactly. I think with this idea, you kind of are going to be inspiring other residents for sure. Because, like, even with seeing it online, you got many interactions, lots of positive feedback. So, how many people would you say contacted you for a ride for New Year's Eve?
I'll be honest. If I was a 5-man crew, I wouldn't have been able to keep up. I had around 75 missed calls at the end of the night. I ended up staying up until around 4:30 or 5 a.m. giving rides all over the place. every single time I dropped somebody off, I got another phone call and I couldn't refuse it, right? I had enough Red Bull in my system to keep me going all night if I really needed to. But overall, I gave around 54 rides, and I didn't really count because it was so busy, but I'm going to guess around 120 or 130 people got free rides that night.
Wow, that is so many, especially just knowing how many rides you can give through one night. It truly is inspiring and amazing to see. And it's really good to see that, so many people did reach out and chose that safe option. How was that feeling, would you say, of having people choosing to get home safely rather than drinking and driving?
Oh, it's great, right? Don't get me wrong. Drinking is so much fun, but if you get impaired, it's going to affect you for the rest of your life, right? So it's one thing to not only help that, but also, of course, it's preventing accidents as well. So as long as what I did saved one family from a heartbreak or a potential heartbreak, I did my job.
No, awesome. Thank you so much once again for joining us today, Austin. I'm really glad we're able to speak and help get the word out. And I think it's truly inspiring what you did New Year's Eve. And I'm sure many people out there thank you as well. So thank
Hey,
you.
well, I appreciate it. All I ask for anybody that I gave a ride to is pay it forward.
And now let's check in once again with Shelby Clark for an extended look at weather.
Thanks so much again there, Mr. Jace Mackey. Yes, now taking an extended look, starting off with our central zone of the provinces. And we are looking at some beautiful conditions compared to what we have been seeing, like we said, last week and the week before that. When I was here, we were even seeing those extreme cold warnings in place, but now starting off the new year, I think we're starting off pretty strong. And just by taking a look on our Alberta side, most spots are seeing those single digits, which is awesome to see that, starting off January. -3, -4 for Rocky Mountain House and Edson, while it is -6 and -7 for Whitecourt and over in Jasper. And we are seeing those double digits here with between -10 to -12 degrees in the rest, but not even seeing close to that -20 points. So that's really nice to see as we are starting off. Looking over at our Saskatchewan side, they are looking at some spots slightly cooler compared to our Alberta side. Meadow Lake and North Battleford with that -14, and looking at that -12 in Prince Albert, but the rest, are warmed up just like we are. -6, -7 for Saskatoon and Melfort. So really nice to see that, there are even some spots seeing those single digits in place. Starting off January, it's kind of shocking how we are seeing these ups and downs lately throughout the winter season. But it's nice to know we are starting off warm, because we always, for January, February, expect quite a drop, and that probably will be coming up here. But so we might as well cherish it while we can. Going over to our northern zone now, they are seeing some spots with those single digits as well, with Laloche and Buffalo Narrows at -7. The rest are seeing those double digits. Most are around -13, -11 degrees. Looking at -14 over in South End, but for the most part, Saskatchewan side in our northern zone still looking quite warm. Going over to our Alberta side now for our northern zone, they actually have cooled down slightly. Not as warm as what we are looking at in our central area, while most spots are just seeing -15 degrees. Fort McMurray is matching though, seeing that single digit with -8. -12 in Fort Chipewyan, so these two spots here are slightly warmer, but they aren't quite hitting that -20 points either. So I think they are still seeing some beautiful conditions right now in our northern area on our Alberta side. But as we go over to our southern zone now, they are beating out everyone. As you can see, look at that. Even looking at that 0 mark in Calgary, must be nice. -1, -2 for Lethbridge and Medicine Hat, while Banff is just at -8. And up in Coronation, they are definitely looking the coolest with those double digits there. And now going over to our Saskatchewan side in our southern zone, they are kind of matching with us in our central area, I would say, with some spots looking at that single digit with -6 in Swift Current to -9 over in Yorkton, but the rest are seeing those double digits with -12, -13, but not getting too close to that -20 mark. So I'd still say we are pretty grateful starting off this January month already for the new year. And now looking at some overnight temperatures that we can expect in some surrounding areas. Definitely won't be seeing that extreme cold warning in place for tonight, which will be a nice break for sure. Bonnyville will be expecting that low of -20, while it'll be a low of -19. Provost will be seeing a low of -18 that Paradise Hill will be expecting, and Isla Cross and Meadow Lake will be kind of seeing the warmest with that low of -14 to 16 degrees. But for condition-wise, we won't be seeing a high chance of some flurries across any of these spots either, so we won't be seeing too much snowfall tonight. It will be more of a calm night and won't be as cold, so I guess we won't even really be needing to plug in those vehicles if you aren't able to or do not have to. And looking at our hourly forecast for tomorrow here in the border city, we will be starting off slightly cooler with around -19, so getting closer to that -20 mark as we go on through the evening. Then throughout the mid-afternoon, around 2-4 p.m., -16, and we will be kind of keeping that level there for the rest of the day. So we are cooling down slightly tomorrow, but don't worry, we aren't going to be hitting those -20s just yet, and we should be seeing a mixture of some sun and cloud. And ending off with a look at your 3-day forecast for here in the border city. As I was saying, we will be cooling down tomorrow with -16 with a mixture of some sun and cloud, and that will continue into Thursday with that same temperature, and both the lows are even equal as well. So we will be seeing a pretty steady couple of days, and we will be even warming up in time for the weekend on Friday there. That's -13. That's all I have for now. Our Jace Mackey will have news coming up after the break.
I'm at Border Paws Animal Shelter for our first pet project of 2023. Very exciting. And today, for our first pet of the year, we have Zamboni, one of the calmest, chillest cats I think I've ever met. Just loves affection. You know, the first few minutes that I met him, he just wanted pets, especially scratches behind the ear. Tell me a little bit about his story. He's a little bit older. But again, his personality also is just so calm and relaxed.
Yeah, so Zamboni's probably about 3.5 we aged him at. He just came in as a random stray walking around Lloyd and nobody claimed him. But yeah, no, he seems like a really chill cat. Seems to get along with everybody so far. We had him running around. He was getting along good with the rabbit, as well as he seems to be fine with all the cats beside him. Not really sure about dogs yet, but he seems like a pretty chill guy. So I think with like a slow introduction, he'd be good in any kind of home. Great with kids. He actually just sits with one of our employees is pregnant, and he just likes to snuggle up to her pregnant belly all day. So
Definitely a fit for any household.
Exactly.
Then. Yeah, and like you said, you're not entirely sure how he's with dogs. So if a family does have a dog, maybe a slow introduction, stuff like that. Now, going on cats, you had a discount through the month of December for the holidays, and it was pretty successful. Tell me a little bit about how many cats were adopted out and, you know, the whole discount.
Yeah, so I just added up the numbers to see what we did during our 50% off event of December, and actually we adopted out over 50 cats. I don't know how we did it, but I'm super happy with that, as well as probably about 10 to 15 dogs as well. So no, it was really, really nice to see those numbers over the month of December.
That's super exciting. And on the flip side of that, did you see any influx of strays come in, whether it be dogs or cats or really any other animal?
A bit of both. It wasn't too bad, but we definitely still took in probably about 20 animals over the month of December. So it's kind of slowed down a bit. But I'll let this guy run for a bit. But yeah, no, it's slowing down a bit, but yeah, we're still, of course, still getting at least an animal a day, so.
That's super exciting. Now tell me a little bit about, we've talked about it a little bit before, but the adoption process, just for people to just get an idea. If they, you know, it's the new year, they want to add an animal to their home, what's kind of the process that they need to go through?
So again, it's just online. You can go to our website, or well, I believe Facebook has a link as well. You can go on there, fill out your application ahead of time, even before you come and meet any of the animals. It's kind of nice, because then if you have an approved application, you can actually leave that day. Whereas if you don't, then we do have to check references and all that, just because we want to make sure it's the right fit for the animals, just to kind of help any returns, you know, make sure it's the right fit for the right family, make sure they're good owners. It's kind of why we do the background check. So yeah, if anybody's interested, just head to our website or our Facebook and you can apply.
Now, this year, I'm assuming going to be full of different events. We may not have any specifics to talk about right now, but you also mentioned last year that you had a new events coordinator come in. So how excited are you guys for the new year, for events that you guys are going to hold, for the new building, for just how excited are you guys?
So we're pretty excited. I mean, it's a long time coming. So yeah, once we get into that new building, it's going to be a lot easier to host more events. You know, it's a lot more inviting than this old place. So yeah, no, we hired a new events coordinator, and I know she's got a lot of ideas in the works. So hopefully next week I'll be able to advertise an event that's coming up. So
that would be awesome, you know, because you had such a successful year last year with all the events that you did hold. And obviously some of those successes may drag on to this year, and you know, those events could become more of a tradition, like your jail and bail as well, which would be super exciting. Now, if anybody finds any strays, I guess that's a good reminder for people. If they do find strays, whether a dog or cat, what should they do?
So absolutely give us a call. I mean, if it's a dog running at large by law, or even a cat, I know there's been a lot of pesty cats in people's yards, getting people's other animals upset. So I would just suggest either calling bylaw, giving us a call ahead of time, because we need to make sure we have the space. Unfortunately, we can only intake so many because we only have so much space. And at the moment, we are at max capacity. We do not have an empty kennel right now. So yeah, just give us a call ahead of time. If it's one of your animals you're wanting to surrender, I always suggest reaching out on Facebook first, seeing if you can rehome it that way. But if not, just give us a call and we can add you to our wait list.
And finally, is there any donations that you guys are in need of, or stuff in general that you guys could use?
Again, always food. I feel like a broken record, but yeah, no, we can always use more kibble in both dog and cat, as well as wet. So.
And your Amazon wish list is still ongoing.
Yes. So if you're not really sure, that's the best way to do it. You know, you don't even need to leave your house. You just click a button and it comes right to us. So if you are interested, and that also has other things we need. You know, cat toys, stuff the cats need, stuff we need for bottle babies, that kind of thing. So if you don't want to donate food, there's a million different things on there that we're always looking for.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me for our first pet project of 2023. Thank you, Zamboni, for being an awesome guest. And hopefully he will be able to find his forever home very, very soon.
Bye, Zamboni.
Pet Project is sponsored by the Pet Pad. For total pet care, think Pet Pad.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
I'm joined here with the CEO of the Olive Tree, Becky Shilley, and today we're going to be talking about the year that the Olive Tree has had. Now, you've had a pretty impressive year with over 13,000 meals served, almost 5,000 hampers delivered, and $928,000 worth of food distributed. That's very impressive. And you know, the Olive Tree has been a part of the Lloydminster community for so long. What do those numbers mean to the Olive Tree and to the people who run it and distribute all the food and the hampers, and you know, the families that it impacts?
Well, I hope it means that we're being successful in addressing food insecurity. The numbers, you know, you can look at them as they're impressive because we're doing really great things, but it's also kind of sad because our support is needed. So we kind of see our numbers at the end of the year both ways. But yeah, I hope that we're making a difference.
And it is a little, like you said, it is a little bittersweet, you know, having those large numbers, but being able to provide those services for families who need it is in itself the sweet part of it, which is nice. So what are some of the highlights from this year, you know, with the events that you may have put on, or, you know, the donations that you've received?
I think one of the best things of this year was very few COVID restrictions and changes to our programs. That's been really hard the last few years. For a while we were eating in at our meals, or we were doing pickups or deliveries or whatever it looked like, and so it was really nice to just have kind of some calm and some consistency. The other thing that we're really proud of is we moved our Reclaim store this year into its permanent home and got that all set up. So yeah, it was a nice year of just kind of nothing crazy going on.
And what does it mean to have something like the Reclaim store and the Olive Tree in this community, and for as long as you have been here?
Well, the stores for us are super important because they provide an income for our food bank and soup kitchen programs, and so it's a necessity for us. But it's also a way for us to provide essential items, furniture, clothing, whatever it may be, to people in the community that are in need. And the third part is we're diverting really great items from the landfill. So there's no real downside to having the thrift stores.
which is perfect. I've been to the Reclaim store and it is fantastic, all the different items that are there. Now, I read in your gift guide that you've been raising money to pay off your mortgage on the building and to get a new van. How has that been going this year, raising that money?
Pretty good, yeah. You know, the goal is always to be out of debt. So as the economy changes or the need changes, we have more money available for our programs and for our services. And our van, if you've ever seen our vans running around town, they're dearly loved, but well used. And so, yeah, we're hoping to get enough to purchase a new van and also have some set aside for fuel, as those costs are going up too. So, yeah, it's been a really great year.
And what would it mean for the Olive Tree to be able to pay off your mortgage? What would that look like for the community?
Well, I think it just takes the pressure off. You know, food bank numbers are going up across Canada, and so we never want to be in a position where those kinds of costs are more necessary than purchasing food if we need to, or maintaining a van that's running down. So definitely just paying off debt's a high priority for us.
And if people in the community don't know and they haven't, but they're curious, how can they get involved with the Olive Tree, whether it be donating or volunteering for that matter?
Oh, lots of fun things. Our volunteer programs are super fun. They can check out our website. Our volunteer forms are there, and we accept volunteers pretty much everywhere. Food bank, soup kitchen, both of the thrift stores, and even in all of our programs. So yeah, they can check out the form on our website and give Faye a call, and she'd love to sign them up.
And what are some of the bigger events that you've held this year, or the events that you've held?
Well, we were still a little nervous this year. We didn't want to plan anything huge and then have to cancel it all. But we did an outdoor movie this year. We wanted to do that for a long time, and so that was great. We had our chalk competition. Coming up in the spring is our 10th birthday. So we're hoping to have a whole bunch of really fun activities and events this coming May.
And that leads into my next question. What are some of the plans that you have for the new year?
Yeah, birthday, the Food Banks Alberta conference is coming in May, which is really exciting to be able to bring something like that to our community. They've invited Food Banks Saskatchewan to come as well. So just something unique and a lot of fun, something new for the community.
Which is super exciting, especially, that decade is a super big number for, a lot of organizations. It's fantastic when you're able to make those milestone dates. What does it mean for you guys to be here for a decade?
Yeah, it's surreal actually for me. It feels like we started the Olive Tree yesterday, and it also feels like it's been going on for a really long time. So, when we started the Olive Tree, our only goal was to feed people that were hungry. And so, these are where we are now isn't something that we planned. It was just see a need and do something about it. And so, yeah, it's really neat to look back. I actually have two big scrapbooks of every picture, newspaper article, and everything for the last 10 years. So we're going to have that out for people to see in May.
That's really exciting. Well, I'm very happy with how your guys' year turned out. It's very exciting with all the numbers that the money that you've raised and the events. The Olive Tree really does make an impact on this community. I think a lot of people who, whether they use your services or they volunteer, I think they see that huge impact that you guys make. And it's a reason why you guys have been around for 10 years, and obviously it will continue for another 10, 20, hopefully, hopefully it continues like that because of how big of an impact you guys make. So thank you so much for joining me. And I wish you the best of luck for the next year going forward, and hopefully it's just as successful.
Thank you so much.
Ending off with a quick look at your 7-day forecast. We will be looking at -16 for the next couple of days with a mixture of some sun and cloud. Warming up even for the weekend, looking at even -8 on Saturday. So be prepared because we will be seeing a beautiful weekend ahead here in the border city. And as we head into next week, we will be looking at those single-digit temperatures once again with -8 next Monday and -9 next Tuesday. But be prepared. We will also be seeing that high chance of some snowfall next Tuesday. So just be grateful. We got some beautiful temperatures ahead.
All right, thank you so much for that, Shelby, and thank you for joining us on this short week, starting it off with us on this Tuesday. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great night.